Barca news. It is April 24th, 2026. And as we near the summer transfer market, Barcelona already making moves. Now rolling out 3 players. I'm going to tell you who those players are. And also, we got to talk about the devastating news because Lamine Yamal is out for the rest of the season. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Bo, and I'm bringing you this short live stream because yesterday after work, I went to a work-related dinner. Ended up staying out super late. When I got home, I was too tired. I went to sleep, so I didn't make any videos. So now I'm gonna do 2 short lives, this one and another one after this, to bring you all the news from yesterday, so you could be up to date on all Barcelona news. And of course, later today is the podcast, so I'll see you guys in the podcast, where, of course, I get to react to you guys' comments live. Now, let's dive right into the news because we do have an update on the possible Joan Gamper trophy opponent for this summer. As you know, Barcelona starts the preseason usually with some practice. Then they do a tour. U.S., Korea, Japan. You've seen that in the past. This time, they're not going to do a tour. They're going to be training in England. And then finally, the last friendly match right before the season kicks off is the Joan Gamper Trophy. Now, Barcelona were in negotiations with RB Leipzig in order to so that we can play against them in the Joan Gamper Trophy match. However, it didn't go through because there were a lot of calendar problems. Both clubs could not agree on a specific date, so it didn't happen. But now we have a new possible opponent, someone that Barcelona are in advanced talks with to make this happen, and it's no other than Ajax. And the reason why Barcelona have chosen Ajax, because of course this year is the 10th year anniversary since the passing of the Barcelona legend Johan Cruyff, who of course was also an Ajax player. He came up through Ajax, then eventually transferred to Barcelona as a player, and then of course came back to Barcelona as a coach and gave us, well, what we all know and love, which is our Barcelona identity, or our Barca DNA. So kind of to commemorate Johan Cruyff's passing, Barcelona will now be looking to play against Ajax in that Joan Gamper Trophy match, which, even though Ajax are not going through the best time and, would have been much more competitive to play against RB Leipzig, I think given the circumstances with the anniversary of the passing of Johan Cruyff, I think it's the best opponent that we can play against. Now, one player, of course, who will be facing off against Ajax for the first time since leaving Ajax, it's no other than Frankie de Jong, who joined Barcelona in 2019 from Ajax. Since then, he's never played against them in his Barcelona kit. So if this happens, this would be his first time playing against Ajax since joining Barcelona. Frankie, by the way, who set a record for the Dutchman with the most appearances in the history of the club, beating the legendary Philip Cocu, and of course beating other legendary Dutch players like Johan Cruyff himself, like Ronald Koeman, like Patrick Kluivert, and the list goes on and on and on, because Barcelona has always had a long history of, Dutch legends coming to the club and contributing to the greatness of FC Barcelona. Now, from good news, we go to bad news because, as you might know by now, Lamine Yamal, ladies and gentlemen, was injured in the match against Celta Vigo. He underwent medical exams yesterday morning, and then the club announced the following through their official channels, saying the tests carried out have confirmed that the first-team player, Lamine Yamal, has an injury to the biceps femoris of his left leg. That's kind of like the hamstring muscle, the back muscle, the thigh. The player will follow a conservative treatment plan. Lamine Yamal will miss the remainder of the season and is expected to be available for the World Cup. Big blow for Barcelona, as our most important player will miss the remainder of the season. And of course, this is bad news because Lamine Yamal is not only a great player or one of the greatest players in the world, he's a difference maker. And when teams park the bus, when things are not working out, when we're at a standstill, it's Lamine Yamal who usually unlocks matches, unlocks victories through an impossible dribble that no one else could do by him, through an impossible pass, whether it be a Trebella or a normal pass, through a goal, through an assist, or even through causing a penalty like he did yesterday. It's usually Lamine Yamal who unlocks matches, who gives us wins, and now he won't be available for the remainder of the season. So definitely a big blow for Barcelona. Now let's look at the remainder of the calendar because of course tomorrow we do have a match against Getafe in their own stadium, a team that's very dirty, a team that likes to defend with all 11 players, waste time, uh, foul players, pretend to be fouled, dive in, wasting time. It's one of the teams, I think it's the team that concedes the least in La Liga. So definitely a difficult match that where we could use someone like Lamine Yamal. Then we have Osasuna, a team that's very competitive, a team that's very offensive. We saw what they did to Real Madrid. So that is also not going to be an easy match. And then, of course, there's Real Madrid themselves, right? We're going to have El Clásico match. And I got to say this, I'm not worried about Real Madrid because as we've seen, they're a terrible team this season. They're a team that lacks any kind of creativity, energy, intensity, ideas. But what I am scared of is not Real Madrid, but a Barcelona without Lamine Yamal. Because again, as we've seen, when Lamine Yamal comes off, the team looks completely different. And after that, of course, we have Alaves, Real Betis, and Valencia. Not too worried about these three matches, but definitely worried about these three ones, which is Getafe, Osasuna, and Barcelona. Three matches that if Barcelona win, they would officially become champions of La Liga. So we'll see what Hansi Flick will come up with. Of course, there are several options that could replace Lamine Yamal, including Rooney Bardaghji, who will have this perfect chance to show us what he has, to show us that he has a place on the first team. There's other players, of course. Ferran Torres can play in that position. Dani Olmo can play in that position. Technically, Fermin Lopez can play in that position. Even Rashford can play in that position technically. So lots of options, but of course, none of those options are Lamine Yamal. But in Hansi Flick, I trust. In this team, I trust. So let's hope that Barcelona will be able to pull these victories and seal the deal on La Liga title. Now, on to that next bit of news because Barcelona have now ruled out 3 players for the summer transfer market. The first one is Bernardo Silva, 31 years old, gonna be 32 in August. His contract expires this summer with Manchester City, and he has offered to himself to Barcelona left and right. His agent Jorge Mendes has been pressuring Barcelona to sign Bernardo Silva come this summer transfer market, but Barcelona have decided not to. Thank God. And one of the main reasons is not too long ago he did an interview where he said that he wanted to kind of replace Man City with a beach destination with good food. And that, of course, was a worrisome answer for Barcelona because, let's be real, Bernardo Silva has won everything there is to win. And at this point, how hungry can he be? Well, according to his answer, not very hungry, right? He looks like he just wants to coast until the end of his career or sail into the sunset, as we say here in the U.S. Also, Bernardo Silva, even though he's a midfielder, where does he mostly play? Mostly in Lamine Yamal's position. So, of course, why spend all that money when we already have Lamine Yamal? Not to mention, we have Rooney Bardaghji, who is his substitute. The second player that Barcelona have ruled out for the summer transfer market is Rafael Leao, the 26-year-old AC Milan left winger whose contract expires in 2028, but both AC Milan and the player have decided to part ways since, well, it hasn't worked out for either of them. Leao's agent has offered him to Barcelona because, as we know, Joan Laporta is a huge fan. He's always wanted to sign him. Barcelona have tried to sign him in the past, but it didn't work out. But Barcelona have been watching Leao this season and have decided that this is not a signing they want to complete because Leao does not defend, does not press, and given that AC Milan will most likely want 80 million euros, even though Barcelona believe that they can sign him for 50, and given his high salary, that's not a monetary gamble that Barcelona want to make on a player that doesn't press or defend. And the third player that Barcelona have ruled out for the summer transfer market, another player that was offered to Barcelona, is that of Pedro Neto, 26 years old, can play both on the right and the left wings, and even as a center forward, has a contract with Chelsea until 2031. His minutes have dwindled, so he's looking for a change of pace or a change of scenery. He has good speed, good 1v1, but Barcelona believe that he's not really a difference maker. Good player, but it's not a player that can come on and change the outcome of a match single-handedly, and as such, Barcelona have ruled them out as well. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I'm going live in a few more moments to bring you more news from yesterday. Let me know, what do you guys think about these exits? Oh, sorry, about these players that Barcelona have ruled out. Bernardo Silva, Leao, Pedro Neto. Right decision, wrong decision. Let me know down below. And of course, let me know your thoughts about Lamine Yamal's injury. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Peace, Barça.